Well, good morning, everyone. How do you follow up such a great history lesson? It's impossible to do that. But thank you again for a very nice event this year. Last year was amazing. What an amazing place Cambridge is. Cambridge University is. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the future that can be bright, hope, against the VUCA of this world. I'm from Cranfield, which is an hour away from here. We know that pretty. We got our own airport, though. Lots of interesting machinery, and we produce the most amount of PhDs in engineering in the country, more than Cambridge. But that's another story. He's who I am. I've done a lot of stuff. I've been a busybody. I still am. And I've done stuff in the printing world. So my only qualification of being today here is because I've done some interesting things with Avery Dennison and with packaging, and I've worked in many different sectors, and I'll come back to the different sectors. My message here today is there's a lot more that can be done. And I know a lot of people here are selling and are trying to make a living and trying to produce things and do well at their jobs, the day jobs. But I think it's very, very important to also take a moment out to think about the future, and it can be a little brighter than it is today. That's not me, but someone I work with, and I wanted to tell you a little bit of his story. The Royal Academy of Engineering has kindly allowed him to spend time with us in Cranfield University to do things extracurricular. In other words, we invite students who have nothing to do, or have nothing better to do on a Wednesday evening, and they want to invest themselves, they're curious engineers, and they want to think of interesting things to do. And this is Jeremy there, shaking hands with the most expensive robot in the world, which is obviously from NASA. And this thing costs a lot of money, but it's extremely advanced, and he works with us on horizontal innovation, and I'll come back to what that is. A lot of people confuse innovation with invention. So that's a little ugly thing there. Caused us a lot of trouble a couple of years back. The after effects are still reverberating with a lot of countries and a lot of people. It has changed the world. It has taken us closer to digital. With a working from home crowd, I have to thank this little guy here. And the fact that invention is not innovation is illustrated here. Quite more than a decade ago, someone in Manchester thought it would be an interesting thing to take a bit of sellotape, stick it on a bit of graphite, and pull it out. And they looked under a microscope and they thought, wow, look at this. Carbon atoms, one layer thing. The rest is history, although not much has happened since. For the next about 10 years, nothing much happened to graphene, as they called it, apart from a Nobel Prize that came through. Oh, look, graphene shoes. Running. Anybody a runner here? Everybody has these shoes? Graphene your shoes. It's just that they last a lot longer. And here we have the innovation that turned into invention. And by the way, I've created some other stuff, which is heating, underfloor heating with graphene, printed graphene. So yes, it's taking some time for the innovation to find itself into the real world, but it all started with our little sellotape. So what is it? What is innovation? Oh, this is a big, big sentence here, but what I want you to think is getting new existing ideas and turning them into things of value that people want to pay money for. And that's innovation. And by the way, invention can be tricky, can be difficult, can be serendipitous, but innovation doesn't have to be, and innovation can be anything throughout your busy life, you can make some time to think about making things better or stealing some ideas from other people and putting them into practice, as crazy as they sound. And it follows a little bit of this. Is there something of value? Has someone else invented a wheel that I can use? And can I try it? And would people want this? I like this slide. The best thing I like is this and this. And this is where we've done with Jeremy some interesting things in Cranfield with our students. We produce the best engineers in the world. Of course, I'm biased, but they are amazing brains from all over the world that come to us. And they're all very good at passing exams, because that's what the educational system does to them. They're bright, they've learned how to do things, and the exams, and they correct, and they're wrong, and they're incorrect, conditions them to think a little bit like this, or how things cannot work. And when we deal with them in horizontal innovation on Wednesday nights with a lot of pizza and a lot of sugar drinks, we tell them to change that way of thinking. We ask them. We take them on a journey to think of, go from why something cannot work to the mentality, growth mindset of how things can work. Lots of different types of innovations, and there's a fantastic thing from Richard's, the 7 Scenes of Innovation. I won't dwell too much about this, but here's the thing for us, horizontal innovation. The easiest bit of innovation, in my opinion, is the effective transfer of knowledge and technology from one sector to another to create sustainable value. So it's taking things that work somewhere else and thinking, how could this work here? And the instant thing that comes to mind if you're a very experienced engineer is, it won't work. And shifting that to how could it work can make things change. Like this. So the non-return valve of this thing, we put it into catheters at hospitals. You know, a hospital, have a catheter, you don't want an infection. How do you make sure that you have a very simple non-return valve? Well, they have sorted it out in packaging, and this is coming into the medical world. Open fridges, waste of energy galore. All the energy that goes into cooling goes out, but by putting these aerofoils, Formula 1 technology, a lot of the energy stays in the fridge. Open fridge, less loss of energy. Formula 1 technology, very simple. This is transport, very high-end transport for babies who are sick, and you do not really want to move them and disturb them when you move them from one hospital to another. And this is, they know how to transport a human at ridiculous speeds around the circuit without destroying them. So we thought, what if babies need to move? They have the know-how of how to create a cradle that takes all the data, so the doctors of the other hospital can see exactly what happened to that baby when it's being transported. But it all starts with a story, and the story back to history. Someone needs to need something, so the Horizontal Innovation Think Tank 23 in Cranfield, we took some students and we said, imagine you're a farmer and you want to maximize your yield and you have all this digital technology and you cannot afford to use it. And by the way, we have some interesting people who have done amazing things with drones in Cranfield, and they span things out, and they have drone hives, drones in the box, they open the box, a few of them fly up there, you don't need a security guard anymore. 24/7, you can be anywhere in the world, you can monitor security. So we thought, what if you did this and did something different? Help farmers combat disease. So here's a story of someone needs something. And I know I'm talking about stories because I know both Fraser and Marcus love storytelling. And I think we've used this and we're going to use it more. And there we talk about, okay, is there a need? What about the commercials? How about the time? How about the convenience? So we got people, we got the engineers to think in a structured way about how to go about solving this problem, and then we gave them more tools of how to map the design space, develop the concepts, converge them. So that's what we do in academia. We try and put some structure around ideas. And then we said about drones that can do stuff, they can see. We have some very sophisticated, very cheap cameras right now. They can diagnose disease from the sky. And then we synthesize potential solutions, and we corral them down, and then we corral them down even more, and then we end up with something that when we started talking about this, everyone thought it was absolutely crazy. But we didn't invent anything. We just opened people's minds. And did we do anything? So this is the process. The student who did this, amazing guy, Coyote, followed the structural approach to create early detection and treatment. We thought, okay, horizontal innovation, early detection of my disease and early detection of treatment of my disease means I have a better chance of survival. What about plants? Early detection of their disease and early treatment of disease, better chance of better yields. And with the drones and the cheap cameras, that can happen in the middle of Africa. And the farmer doesn't need to have a smartphone, doesn't need Wi-Fi. Could it work? So we found a handheld printer that can print through craft reduce edible ink. Some of you make edible ink? Hands up. Oh, some of you made edible ink. Okay. So look, from the being crazy to, oh, there is something out there. Why we stick that on a drone? Can we print chemicals? Print chemicals, like picoliters of stuff, using your amazing inkjet technology. And look, this is our, here's a drone. And the drone is coming down on a leaf and it's printing something, a little chemical that will arrest the spread of plant disease in a field. Obviously, we hacked this, right? We just bought things together, and it works. You know, the moment people saw that, they thought, oh, this is possible. We can do this. Who do we need next? We need someone who knows about printing technology and drones. Well, we know some of that stuff, and if we could inspire somebody to work with us, we can make that happen. And we're not talking about spraying. I don't know if you've ever seen a field being sprayed with tons of chemicals, and the runoff and shipping those things all around the world. But this can go in a suitcase, in a cartridge, where specific chemicals for specific diseases could be like a chocolate selection. Okay, it wasn't perfect, right? It doesn't have to be, to start with. Anyway, enough of that. You're going to talk a lot about digital today, AI, grabbing the headlines. Is it about to become sentient? Why are the politicians putting the guardrails now? Things are moving fast. And because the things are moving fast, and everyone talks about digital twins, let me tell you a little bit about our concern. I'm part of a group from the Institution of Engineering and Technology, which we are a little bit concerned that people are developing their own language to create digital twins. So the aerospace people are doing something. Some of the machinery people are doing something. Some of the medical people are doing something. They're all creating the different languages. And guess what? In terms of digital twins, they don't talk to each other. You have to develop really expensive APIs to create interoperability. It doesn't have to be this way. So we created this thing called the Apollo Protocol with Apollo forums, and really all there is getting together cross-sectorally and telling stories of value before we create digital twins, to prevent the Babel Tower coming to bite us. We have the kit. We want to involve Marcus on this. A report will be coming out in January. You're all welcome to have it. Please reach out to me. We can create workshops with your sector and your supply chain and other sectors to create the language, the ontology of the language of digital twins. And by the way, it all begins with the question, do I really need one? Because a lot of the print crowd, you're in the two-dimensional world. And that's been okay so far. Putting more data into the 3D world, who's going to benefit from this? So the 3D of me on a twin. Okay, and? Starts with that question. But our vision is to create a world where we have a unified language for data. Because data is everywhere. We create it every single day. We don't even know where it goes. We don't know who owns it. And we sleepwalking blindly to the world where we accept big data. Why? Because the deep learning algorithms need it. But they don't have to be deep learning algorithms in what we create. They can be few shots of learning, meta learning, very little amounts of data that can predict the future. We've got the principles, 6 of them, openness, big thing, based on the Gemini principles. I'm going really fast here, I'm conscious of the time. We have 7 executive board on the Apollo, and we've done some hacks. We've done some. We've created prototypes, like, you know, the drone on the little lab that proves the concept. We've proven the concept and it works. Getting people together to talk about value, talk about performance, circularity and human capital, and create an open forum where results get shared in the process of then creating an ontology of a digital twin. Works. You're all invited. Thank you.